Future Jam.
Welcome to the Future Jam, a tech news podcast for enthusiasts and casual listeners alike. I'm Mike, and once again, I'm here with my good buddy Alex.
Hey everybody, it's me, Alex. How's it going? How's the life? How's the world, Mike?
World's great, last I checked.
It's still standing?
It's still standing. There's a space race going on right now that's kind of exciting. Just a bunch of rich guys like trying to get to space first.
Yeah, it's like the I don't give a shit space race. And all, like, I don't know, Elon Musk came out saying, like, we're doing this to help people and all. Really feel like people just want to be, like, the first one in the space. And, like, it's this whole idea of, like, we need to do something in case, like, the Earth runs out. Just take care of the Earth. Like, all these other planets are shitty planets.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like it's just a joyride. I don't think they're doing anything to save the planet.
Nah, I don't care. I like Richard Branson better than Bezos and Musk. He seems like the most fun, and supposedly like Virgin like products are always really great customer experience and all. But yeah, I just don't care. Like,
I guess if I would go on a cruise, because Virgin has a cruise ship now. If I would do a cruise, I'd probably do the Virgin cruise because I heard some good stuff about it.
Not Carnival, Celebrity, Disney,
no,
Norwegian,
no,
Princess,
no. So yeah, no to all of those. I probably wouldn't do a cruise period, but
I know you don't.
I would go to space if I won the prize. I think somebody's giving out free space tickets.
Here's your ticket to space. So
or something like that. I don't know. It can't be that simple.
Well, like everything, like all like the landfills and stuff like that. Doesn't it seem like we're more and more close to this launching a giant ball of trash into the universe, like the solar system, like they did on Futurama? I feel like that's like a legit plan.
I'm for that. I'm for just shooting trash into space. I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, like send that to Mars, see what happens.
Yeah, might as well. Like if there's not life on Mars, might as well just put some organic life on there via trash.
Yeah, see if a plant would grow then.
Yeah, I'd say
life finds a way.
And plant Mars with trash. I believe I'm for that.
When the future
I'm 100% for that.
When the Future Jam runs for office, that's going to be our platform. Because when we run for office, it's going to be a tandem of both of us as the Future Jam.
Yeah, we'll both be president and vice president at the same time.
Yeah.
We'll trade off on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Wait, so
we take the weekends off. We take the weekends off.
Oh yeah, so
100%.
we're doing like the Trump thing where we don't work the weekends.
Yeah, 100%. Always golfing.
Yeah.
Wednesdays, we're nowhere to be found as well.
Well, that's hump day. We have to be at the water cooler talking about how long the week's been.
Yeah, 4-day work week as president and vice president.
Yeah, so you get Monday and Friday, and I'll get Tuesday and Thursday.
Well, yeah, it's something like that. I think I said that, but
no, 'cause I was actually talking about this with my wife because she like the rumor is they might go back in the office 2 days a week after Labor Day, and like everybody thinks like you do like Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. Wouldn't you rather do like Monday, Tuesday, and then the rest of the week home? I don't like that going home one day and the next day back in and home, then back in. I'd rather do 2 days back to back.
Yeah, I take Wednesday off, so I do Monday, Tuesday, come home Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday. I think that's a perfect one just because it makes the week feel shorter, get a breather.
Okay.
So that's my preference. But if I had to do two, I'd probably do Tuesday, Wednesday. No, that's dumb. Yeah, I don't want to go in, like you said, and then go back. Too much shuffling. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather just do like 2 days in and not back and forth.
This is riveting. I don't know how people are like getting through this without like calling their friends and say, "Hey, tune in right away." They're talking work from home.
Twitter poll this week: would you, if you were doing 2 days a week at work, would you do every other day or back-to-back days? Hit us up at Twitter for the poll. Mike will post it.
I actually did post the last one, so you can hold me to it. That I do post every once in a while on Twitter.
Yeah, I know you usually do like 1 month off and 1 month on.
Well, it's summer, Alex. There's so many so many things to do. I have to mow the lawn and go to the grocery shopping. So many things.
So in the winter, you don't have to mow the lawn and you don't go grocery shopping?
No, I get the extra lawn mowing time back. So that time is my Twitter time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
Wait, you're not using a custom phone by the FBI, are you?
no, that's our dumb criminal using tech of the week. Not dumb tech of the week. Yeah, I just read about this story a couple weeks ago, and they've been covering it for a little bit. And I just found it pretty hilarious that criminals have been buying like phones from the FBI unbeknownst to them.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, like, criminals like their secrecy. They don't want to, because most phones are tracked and all, and they can usually track your phone or see if you have, like, messages and all. I don't know how that works legally. They have to get warrants. I know there's been, like, a whole bunch of stuff with Apple in the past where they don't want to unlock somebody's phone and all.
So, there's, like, two different things with that. So, and under normal circumstances, they could get the password or unlock the phone with some sort of password crack thing. The thing with Apple is their phone's encrypted, so the government didn't have a way to crack their encryption, so they couldn't get into the phone, and they were asking Apple to build like a backdoor into the phone. I know that's like exciting stuff, but Google made it easier. I think they would just give the encryption backdoor to the FBI or whatever, but with these phones, the FBI actually, it looks like they piggybacked onto a company that was, or like a group that was selling phones to criminals. And when they busted them, they just took over their I guess what they were doing.
Yeah, the Anom phones, which is like a modified Pixel 4a.
Yeah, so they're buying these not off the shelf. They were like heavily modified phones that were supposedly encrypted. That had like it was funny, they had like a messaging app, but the messaging app was built into like the calculator.
Oh,
so people,
it's secret.
Yeah, it's very secret. It had no app store. They couldn't like do location tracking on these phones. But there was a lot of criminal organizations that got their hands on these phones because they thought they were protected from getting in trouble. They said 20 million messages were sent via these phones. Almost 12,000 devices in total were out and about, and it was in over 90 countries.
Yeah, it's crazy because you always hear about like the burner phones where you just get rid of it when you're done with it. So I imagine it's like more of the same, but this offered a little bit more that you would keep it longer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, how dumb do you think would you feel if you were like doing some business with this and you got busted almost immediately?
Well, I feel like you're so secret, like being so secretive, and then you get caught doing this.
Well, they said that these have been out in like the market for like 2018, 2019, and they said it was a preferred phone for a lot of organizations because they just thought it was that secure. So they're just so comfortable using it.
Well, I guess if you're looking at it and there's nothing on it that is so basic, they're like, well, what are you going to track me on? There's nothing on this phone. It doesn't have anything. I can't download anything, so they can't track me on this. Which makes sense to think that way.
It probably seemed pretty legit. Yeah. I don't know what this will do, if this will just drive people into like sourcing these things in-house. Like criminal organizations all have their own app developers.
Yeah, they have their own IT department.
Their own IT department, and figure out ways to, get around this stuff. I forget what movie I was watching or show, but they displayed a way people communicated with each other via like chat rooms in like games. Have you heard of something like that?
No.
I think there's like criminal organizations that have used like old games that people don't play online anymore, and using like games have chat rooms, and using those chat rooms to communicate back and forth like private information.
That makes sense if no one's like watching it.
And I'm sure that's based on reality in some way, but it's probably fiction as well. Mixture of both.
Maybe one. I've been rewatching the Fast and the Furious movies, and
Completely accurate.
all the mobsters have some like high tech person working for them that did all their stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, why would this high tech person be wanting to work for these criminals, anyways? They could probably just make all this money on their own because they're way more skilled than any of the criminals they're working for.
Yeah, but you don't get the thrill of watching somebody kill somebody for working behind a desk. So
Yeah, hacking's never exciting as it is in like looking at movies and TV shows. There's always a lot of typing and excited stuff like that.
you know that the movie Swordfish made hacking seem so cool, and then this yes, they make this whole underground world of hacking. I don't know.
The only thing I remember about Swordfish is like one detail. So, anyways, let's just jump right into our. I have like a quick story I added up top. Well, I mean, you know about it, obviously, but
What? No, you a random story.
oh man, surprise, surprise! No, I added this because this has been like something that's kind of not flown under the radar, but like a lot of places have like started to scrutinize more and more, like Google and Apple's operating systems and such. But Facebook, funny enough, decided to invest their own money into doing a study on the iPhone and Android phones to find out if they were like somehow making it like not an even playing field for applications on their phones. I thought this was kind of funny.
Yeah, so everybody knows when you get like a new iPhone or like a new phone, you have your operating system, and it comes preloaded with apps, and usually the apps are whoever created the operating system.
Yeah, the phone.
Yeah, so like the iOS operating system is all Apple apps. Like it makes sense. Like I don't think you really needed to do a study for this, and I don't know what Facebook's end game is. They're just going after Apple any way they could. But like they said, like 75% of the top 20 apps on the Apple, like on people's Apple phones, are Apple apps. But like it includes like your weather, your maps, like your like all that stuff, like the calculator, clock, stuff you don't think about, but they're made by those companies.
Yeah, I did see that. I found it quite funny because they said that out of the top, like, I think they listed the top 20 apps from each one. I think most of them were just like their proprietary apps. And it's surprising like what people have on their phones. Like I didn't realize that people used like the
number 2 on both operating systems was Pornhub.
No, but I'm sure that would have ranked pretty high if they included it. For some reason, they left out like the web browser because they said that the web browser was part of the operating system. I think on both phones, the web browser is built kind of into the operating system a little bit. So they didn't include the web browser. But like the top one, like for instance, on the iPhone, the top one is the phone itself, the dialer. That's the top app. I didn't know people still made phone calls as much as they do. But and then on Google, the top one is just the App Store.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like that's why I don't get what Apple's Facebook's endgame was, because I think the first app on Apple that wasn't an Apple app was YouTube, and right after that, like it was Facebook. Like for the next one that wasn't made by Apple, and then Google operating system, the first app that wasn't a Google product was Facebook. So like they're pretty high up there. I don't. Do you think they might be trying to get into the operating system? Like,
no, I don't think they're trying to get into the operating system. I think they have a lot of like their fingers in a lot of different things, and I think they do have their money in games. And I think...
No, you think they're going after the app stores?
Yeah, everybody's going after the app stores right now, especially their cut, like 30% cut. Nobody likes that. Everybody's suing over that. That's what the Epic lawsuit's over. And like them not allowing third-party app stores and such and so on and so forth. So that's going to be an ongoing battle, the app store battle, probably the next 5-10 years. But This same thing happened with Windows. Remember when Windows would have like the preloaded Edge browser or
Yeah.
Internet Explorer and all these preloaded home pages and preloaded search and all that. Windows got cracked down upon, and like they had to like recommend other browsers to you. They had to recommend like other search engines to you. They couldn't just say, hey, you can only use Bing or you can only use this. Same thing on the Chrome browser. They have to recommend other like search things. So I think that's what they're trying to do is maybe when you boot up your phone, their aim is like, okay, you had the choice of iMessage, or you could use the Facebook Messenger app as your main messenger app.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But they're going to be like, what clock do you want to use?
Well, yeah, again, that's, I guess they want to like open up the market more. Like, hey, you shouldn't be locked down into this clock or this. And obviously, Apple comes under a little bit more scrutiny than Google because Apple locks down their things a little bit more than Google does. I think they're starting to like let loose a little bit, but
with Google and like Android phones, like Samsung has a whole bunch of their own apps and all that they use that come on your Galaxy phone. So you're using more like Samsung products than Google stuff. But I just took it as like, if you're going to use their operating systems, this is what it's going to come preloaded with.
Well, I guess I guess they see it as a non-competitive thing as well, because like say you're a company and you make a really, really good app, a lot of people start using it and downloading it. All Google or Apple has to do is kind of like clone that app, make it a default application, and people will go just use the default application and not go into the store and use your app.
Yeah, but like the general operating apps, because you've gotten new phones before, and it sucks when you have to go through and re-add all your applications that you have. So now if they're going to be like, well, you get to pick what you want, and it's going to make that whole process worse.
Yeah, in a way, if you're not well informed of like what app to go with, it could add a level of confusion that most people aren't willing to like go with. Like if it boots up, like what phone app do you want to use? Do you want to use the Apple one or these third-party phone apps or text app and so on and so forth? Yeah, it could get real confusing real fast. Maybe it could be a small thing like a little banner that said, "Hey, go to the App Store and find similar apps," and then you click on it from the Apple Maps, and it'll have like all their competitors' apps, and you can install those if you want, or just keep using Apple Maps. So maybe it's as simple as something like that, or I'm sure there's a whole bunch of different ways they could go about like making and more of an even playing field.
Yeah, I think so. But like you can now go, if you wanted to get Google Maps on your Apple phone, you can get rid of the Apple app and put Google Maps on your phone. So you can do it.
You can
do it.
Yeah, you can make default apps now, like on a lot of these phones. So yeah, you can do it. Facebook is just trying to stir the hornet's nest, I feel like, and they have some decent points. But on Android, I don't feel locked down to any certain app. Like the only app that's hard for me to change from the default is the dialer. But I don't really care. Like I don't need a specific dialer. I'm just going to use the dialer that's built in. And of course I could change it if I really wanted to on Android, but it's not as easy as like changing the other apps.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like an odd thing that Facebook is trying to push. I just wonder, because no phone bombed. I wonder if they're going to try to relaunch again.
Well, they're having that watch, remember?
That's true.
They have the Facebook watch they're trying to push eventually down the road. And we'll let you guys know about if there's ever a Facebook phone again, obviously. That would be big news. It won't happen. You ready to jump into the Tech Bytes?
Okay, I got my timer. Ready, set, Tech Byte.
Tech News Bytes.
So this first one off the top, this happened. This almost beat out your prediction, Alex. You said there wouldn't be a $100 million movie this year, and Black Widow got pretty close, $80 million opening box office. But that's not the story that I'm actually getting at here. Marvel says Black Widow made $60 million on Disney Plus.
I believe them. I have no reason to doubt it. The odd thing is, like, they have not released how much any of the other movies have made, like Mulan, or Raya and the Last Dragon, or Cruella. They haven't released any amount of money, and this is like, it made $60 million. So I wonder, like, they wanted the buzz. I imagine it did make more than the rest of them. Yeah. And, like, I don't know if they announced it, if it makes $100 million on its own. But now this is like, you see, it made like they can argue that it made $100 million opening weekend, but it didn't.
This is 80. Great news for Disney and terrible news for the theaters, I think, though.
Oh yeah, it's awful for the theaters. If they can make $60 million for this, they're making a lot more money from streaming than they would ever off like the ticket sales for a movie. So
stream $60 million. Disney Plus pretty much gets to keep all of that money. Whereas with the theaters, they have to split it with the theater chains. So yeah, this doesn't look good if Disney finds ways to promote their stuff better on their platform. I don't like the way Disney's doing this, honestly. I think the theater chains don't really have a bargaining chip left, so unfortunately they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But
well, like, the annoying thing is, like, so many people hated HBO Max when they announced the same day in the theaters. But they at least gave the theaters something. Disney hasn't given, like, theaters anything. And they kept pushing back movies during the pandemic. And, like, didn't try to help theaters out. Black Widow was supposed to come out last year. And they just kept pushing it and pushing it. And finally, like, when things are more open, like, oh, we're back. And it made $80 million. You know, well, like, HBO was like, here's Wonder Woman for free. And at the theaters at the same time. Here's Godzilla vs. King Kong. Here's Mortal Kombat. Like, all the big releases are out. Like, when the movie theaters were struggling, just trying to get people to come back in general. So, like, Disney didn't care about the theaters at all. And, like, so people just give them a pass. But, like, HBO got so much crap for the deal. So, that's a good one.
I was hoping they'd cancel that whole trend with going to Disney Plus with the $30 thing, early access or whatever. But, yeah, next story up is YouTube's TikTok competitor, YouTube Shorts, is rolling out globally to... I think it's in 26 countries right now, or it's expanding to 26 countries. But yeah, it's been around for about a year now. I think started in India and then spread from there. Have you used YouTube Shorts as well? This sounds like a brand of clothing.
Did not know it was a thing. I'm not a big YouTube guy. I don't know if people know that. I don't really care for internet videos. Never really did. Yeah, like, it's just like, like, they're like, we're going to do short videos, and then TikTok's like, we're going to make longer videos. So they just becoming the same thing. It's just them trying to compete with TikTok. I don't care.
Yeah, funny thing is I scrolled through it, and what's odd is almost every single platform, their algorithms must be all the same now. Like, I got, like, the same videos. Like, I was just curious. I got pretty much the same videos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Just scrolling through, I saw maybe 4 of the same videos out of 10 on all 3 platforms.
If you're a creator, why wouldn't you just put it on all 3 platforms?
Yeah, that's the smart thing to do, because then you capture, like, whatever audience is stuck on that platform. So why, as a creator, just stay on one platform? You
think you'll start seeing, like, exclusive deals? Like, hey, TikTok is paying me $1 million just to use TikTok. So if you want to watch my videos, just come to TikTok. I won't be on YouTube or Instagram if they get, like, those get bigger.
Yeah, I could see stuff like that happening. I think that was big with Twitch. Remember, like, all the Twitch people were on there, and then Microsoft tried to snipe them away to their video streaming service. I forget what the Microsoft one was called, but they canceled it.
It was called Mitch. No, I forget what it was called. It didn't last that long.
No, it didn't. I sold it to Facebook, I believe. But yeah, I'm not excited about this YouTube Shorts thing at all. It's kind of more of the same. Not anything groundbreaking. Next one up is Apple's iPhone is so good at protecting privacy, advertisers are willing to give up and switch to Android.
This was interesting. This was actually, so Apple started recently, like, giving the person the ability to opt out from apps so they want to be tracked.
Like tracking between apps?
Yeah, tracking between apps. And they say 96% of people are opting out instead of opting in to be tracked, which makes sense. So advertisers aren't getting the data that they were used to getting data for. So now, like, well, we're not paying, and I guess Apple charges more than Android does.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're not paying for this if you're allowing people to opt out. So
yeah, the companies are just like adjusting their budgets now, and like they said that they're gonna like push their money, advertising money, more towards the Android platform now because it's more open. I kind of respect Apple a little bit because of this. A little bit heavy-handed, but I think it's a good thing for consumers.
Well, they said advertising dropped 33% for Apple, and it jumped up 50% for Android advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like with Google now getting in trouble for like tracking and all, do they make the same play that Apple made? If like so many people, like now Apple has this thing like, hey, we're protecting your privacy. The people on Android does that move people back to Apple and like their numbers go up?
I'm kind of curious how many people are actually super like care about it, or they're just doing it because it's an option that they could turn, like Apple like really advertised it and made it like an easy access thing.
Well, if it's easy, like we've talked about Google not making stuff easy. If Apple's willing to make it that easy, I think you'll see people opt out. If it was like just like, oh yeah, you can opt out of this and it's simple, yeah, everybody would do it.
Well, Android 12 coming out soon to a lot of the phones. Google is building into Android 12 ways to like block tracking and like turn off like access a lot easier. So they're slowly going that direction. But you're right, Apple still leads the market on that. Next one up is another Apple story, and this is kind of a rumor. I find it pretty credible. It seems like it sounds pretty credible to me. But reportedly, Apple is working with Goldman Sachs on a service called Apple Pay Later. And basically it lets you use your Apple credit card in stores, and instead of like paying it all up front, you could do like 4 interest-free payments over 2 months, or extended payment plan over multiple months with some interest, like undisclosed interest amount right now. What do you think of this? Do you think this is good or bad or like harmful? Or
if you're good with your money and you're willing to pay it off within 2 months, it's fine. I mean, I've made, like, when we got like our new furnace and all, we did like 5 years no interest and just made sure we were paid it off by that time. The way to get you is hoping you don't pay it off in that time.
Yeah, if you're good at tracking that stuff, it's really good for like people who are very responsible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess PayPal already does this with their 4Pay. Like you make 4 payments before a certain point and there's no interest. It just depends on how strict Apple is going to be with it and how high the interest is. Because most places give you like a couple-day grace period if you're late on a payment.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be like a 30% interest if you're late on your payments, or the normal interest is like pretty high, I don't think it's a good move for Apple. But it makes sense that they're doing it. It's just a credit card thing.
Yeah, I'm sure when they roll it out and they'll probably tweak it as they go if they see some bad things happening. But the thing I find most interesting about this is I never really thought like smart credit cards would be like a thing that I'd find interesting. But this is kind of cool. Like most credit cards, you just kind of swipe it and it pays right there. But from the phone, I'm sure they would build it in where you could select pre you buy something, like I want to do this over 4 or 2 months, 4 payments, and you could pretty much like put anything that way. I'm assuming that would be really cool if like you could if put your like a big grocery bill on there if you needed that, or your computer died and you need to quickly run out and do something like that. So I could see it being useful for some people.
Well, I know people that always pay, like, use their credit card to buy stuff and just pay it before like the interest is due. So I imagine it'd be like the same people doing that if it gives you more time.
Yeah.
But next topic.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't have rewards though. Yeah. Next one up is I added this one. It's a kind of a political one, but not a political one, because we're not going to really get into the politics behind it really that much. But Biden's wide-ranging executive order covers big tech, net neutrality, and more. And this is 72 proposals, and I put the article link to a bunch of this stuff. But basically,
list them all. List them all.
All right, yes.
List.
All right, everybody just get some water, and I'm going to list all 72. But no, the big highlights, I guess, were they're adding a broadband nutrition label. So I guess you can eat broadband.
Yeah, so for one, get some water while I name this stuff. Why don't you get some hot cocoa and cuddle up on the couch and listen to me? But no, get your water and listen to my list of proposals. No, so the broadband nutritional label was greater price transparency that Obama tried to put through. So you get these bills, you're like, why is my bill so high? And they don't really break it down. This would be showing you what your actually bill is. Big thing is net neutrality, which we need net neutrality. If you don't know what it is, look it up. We talked about it before.
There's tons of smarter people than us to explain net neutrality in detail.
Yeah. Basically, net neutrality protects the people and hurts companies. There's some banking and personal financing, allowing banking trader to move more fluidly for their own people. People can take it with them. Health sector, price transparency rules, airlines, better transparency with their baggage and cancellations. There's a lot in this. Right to repair proposals in there. Look it up. It's 72 points proposals that they have.
And just because it's an executive order doesn't necessarily mean that it's all going to happen. It just means that that's this administration's priorities. And what's funny is I don't think Biden probably knows anything about any of this stuff. He probably somebody told him, hey, this is important tech stuff. I don't picture Biden as a tech person.
Really?
No.
You don't see, you didn't see the picture. He has the same picture of Harvey Carville, whatever his name, the guy who plays Superman, with his shirt off, building his own computer.
Does he?
No. It'd be awesome if he did. Okay, next one.
All right, next one up is scientists study temperature at which humans spontaneously die with increasing urgency. That's a weird title. I don't know why they worded it that way. Word soup. But this is the first time I heard of this. It's called wet bulb conditions. Have you heard of a wet bulb condition before?
I have never heard of this before.
No, this is the first for me.
Yeah, so it's the condition when the humidity and the heat hit a certain point where the body, pretty much where sweat doesn't work anymore and people die. So, even if you're, perfectly healthy, the conditions are too bad that your body can't handle it.
Yeah, I think it has to be 95% humidity out and 88 degrees or higher, which 88 degrees doesn't seem super hot, but I guess when it's that humid, your body can't naturally cool itself anymore. And yeah, even in shade or with a fan on you, it can be very dangerous.
And the big thing is now with the rise of 100-degree temperatures, especially out west, and these temperatures are earlier than a lot of people projected them to be. They projected that we would get 100-degree weather out west and all, and in the northeast, but it's just happening sooner. And a big focus on this study is the southeast U.S., the Gulf of Mexico, and northern Australia, where the humidity's high and the heat's getting higher. So it's something they have to look at, and hopefully people are okay.
Yeah, and as it get higher, the electrical grids get strained. So when the electricity goes out, air conditioner don't work. People die, obviously. But the thing is I'm thinking long term. Will they have to move people, move cities, move entire cities? Do you think?
And I'll answer your question. Right? Oh, the timer's up.
So you don't? Okay.
No, I actually have a lot of thoughts on this. Maybe we'll talk about this later because I was reading an interesting study about Miami and with the rise of global warming and water level rise.
Yeah, we'll have to cover that on a main topic someday.
So the Army Corps of Engineers real fast said Miami should just build a 20-foot wall in the middle of downtown Miami by the beach. And they're we can't do that. But that's the only way that'll be protected. But yeah, we'll talk. I'm really interested in that topic and I read a lot about it, but we don't have time.
All right. Next one up, I found this one kind of interesting as well. My wife got an electric bike, and you might think, okay, this might not be good exercise because it's powered. And I guess a couple different electric bike companies have done studies on this and looked at it, and there's been a couple like independent studies as well. But I guess the conclusions are that people who ride electric bikes ride it more often and longer distance, so they end up burning more calories than a regular bike.
Yeah, I don't know much about electric bikes. But yeah, these are the ones that have like the pedal assistant modes. So like you still have to pedal. And I guess there's like 5 levels to it. So there was a study done where they had the bike on level 2, which is the second like lowest assistance to the pedal. So you're still doing a lot of work. And like for a 45-minute ride, they burned 498 calories and had a heart rate of 106 beats per minute. So like I said, it's like right on par with like riding a bike. But like
it's about heavy walking maybe, or light walking.
Yeah, I don't get why people like, I guess there's like a lot of stuff from like real bikers look down on electric bikes. But they're better for the environment, and if people are willing to do it, like to go to work, and like I think that's what a lot of people use them for. It's like I want to take this instead of like wanting to pedal a real bike to work.
Yeah, I've actually been tempted to get one because I don't live that far away from work. I thought it'd be fun. But what's funny is my wife had to put the pedal assist on 100%. She said to keep up with me on my regular bike. So she said she wasn't burning anything because she was 100% assist.
Well, your thighs are solid muscle, so.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If you ever see Mike from the waist down, it is a super cut. It's like looking at the statue of David.
Well, I mean, yeah, to say it lightly. All right. Next one up is a incredibly toxic lake will become one of the U.S.'s first lithium mines. And this is out in California. It's called the Salton Sea, and it's a accidental reservoir that people go on vacation and go to, but it's like a highly polluted area as well. So this doesn't make sense at all. Like, why do people go here? It's so polluted. Now they want to turn it into a lithium mine, so you'd think that would pollute it even further. So it sounds good, but it's not good. But it's good, but it's not good. I don't know. This is a very confusing article.
It is very confusing, but the key is GM is deal with controlled thermal resources. The mine for lithium. Right now, the U.S. doesn't really mine for lithium. They're trying to get in there, and the Southeast has a ton of lithium deposits, which makes it great for the future.
And if anybody doesn't know, lithium is in batteries, folks.
Yeah, so all like the new batteries that electric cars want are lithium. So, like, GM is phasing out gasoline cars by 2033, and that they're saying the use of lithium batteries is going to increase like 5 to 18 times over the next several years. So they're trying to get into this.
I don't think they're going to be able to keep up, honestly, even with these mines. But
they're saying that like this one area can do like 40% of the global demand. And like they have like this whole process of doing it, and it's too hard to explain, but they can start getting lithium out of there by 2024.
Yeah, they said this process is slightly cleaner than the old process people use. I guess the old process they would like just use evaporation to get the lithium out, like with open pools. And this one like goes deep into the ground, sucks up the brine, and somehow separates the brine and the lithium, and then sends it back down into the earth. So I guess it's cleaner, but I still don't know why people would ever go to the Salton Sea, honestly.
I don't think it used to be a destination, but now it's too toxic. Next topic.
Okay, now people die immediately as soon as they get out of their car. Next one up is this is a local news story out of Chicago, but there's Boston.
No, it's out of Chicago, but it's not a local story. We're in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's fox32chicago.com. That's a local website to Chicagoans. But the local, I guess, taxi driver unions decided to hire a tech company, probably the same guys that work for the mob, to make them an app called, what is it called?
Curb,
yes. They're trying to curb their competition.
Yeah, so it's pretty much exactly like Uber and Lyft. but like everybody said, the complaint about taxis is you don't know how much it's going to be when you're in there. But it'd be the same as Uber and Lyft. You get your price beforehand. If it takes longer or like a longer distance than you were expecting, you're still paying that flat rate before. They said on average it's 5 to 10% cheaper than Lyft or Uber, and they don't have surge pricing, which is huge.
So how are they doing this? Are they just paying their drivers less, or?
No, this is what taxis used to be.
Yeah.
Like taxis I still think were cheaper than Uber and Lyft, but they weren't as convenient. Like you would call the taxi company and they're like, oh, we'll send a taxi out, and it'd be like a half an hour. But now if you can track it and find like a taxi right away and you like just do the same thing as Uber and Lyft, like I'll be more for this because taxis are a lot more heavily regulated. They have rules that they have to go by. Uber and Lyft, you really don't know who you're getting in your car, at least with taxis, like they're registered and all.
They probably have a lot more experience and so on and so forth.
Yeah, they said they launched it in New York, and then they saw an increase of people reusing taxis by 35%. And like all the reviews have been great. Like especially if no surge pricing, like that's how like Uber and Lyft get you if you go to like any event.
And why did they wait so long? That's the question I want to know. Like Uber and Lyft have been around for so long now. They cornered the market, and Curb is going to have a hard time getting like mass appeal.
I don't know if they will though, because Uber has such bad press lately, and it's constantly bad press. And if like the drivers and all keep wanting to like unionize and things that the prices are still going to keep going up. The difference is, I think, with Uber and Lyft, you do have some Uber drivers and Lyft drivers where this is like their full-time job. But like a lot of them still are like do it on the side. But taxi drivers, like this is their job. This is their hustle. They do this all day. And
I guess it'll come down to like, is this available to like people probably check all the apps like, okay, can I get a ride right away from this company, this company? It's going to be whoever's cheapest, whoever's easiest to use and quickest to be, wherever you're at. So I hope it gets traction because, that's an industry that I thought was for sure dead.
Next topic.
Yeah, next topic is the one you added about mac and cheese ice cream. Explain to me how this is a tech bite. I guess you could take a bite out of the ice cream, but...
Yeah, so Kraft Mac and Cheese and Van Leeuwen, I don't know, out of New York. They were selling Kraft Mac and Cheese ice cream.
Gross.
It was $12 a pint, and it went on sale today. It's on Wednesday, July 14th, and it's already out of stock.
People buy anything, will they?
I don't like this stuff. Like, this is not appealing to me at all. Like, somebody's like, oh, mac and cheese ice cream. I have no desire to try it. Like, most of the flavors were pretty normal. One of the other flavors, Earl Grey tea,
gross.
Also sounded disgusting. But I don't get these, like, we're having random flavors of ice cream. Just give me chocolate, give me peanut butter, give me, like, a cheesecake or something like that. Just give me normal ice cream flavors. Marshmallows in there. This reminds me of when what's that soda company that was really popular for a while? Pepsi?
Jones? I think it was Jones. During Christmas or Thanksgiving time, they would have Thanksgiving flavored sodas. Like you could have like a turkey flavored soda or a stuffing flavored soda, something like along those lines. I always thought those were super disgusting and like, why would you ever buy this product?
Yeah, I just don't get these random ice cream flavors. Don't ruin ice cream. Just make it good, and I guess make it cheaper. Ice cream's getting expensive.
So this is a tech bite because we found it via a phone app. So, use tech to find this app.
Well, we're talking about the future of the world. And if like stuff like this keeps catching on, it's going to ruin our ice cream flavors, Mike. It's all future. What's the tagline of this podcast?
Future of ice cream and stuff that we hate.
I'm going to look it up. What's the...
All right.
No, hold on. What's the... Welcome to the Future Jam, a tech news podcast for enthusiasts and casual listeners alike. We have something else?
You want me to add ice cream and food into the title?
No, I was like, I don't know. That's stupid. That's stupid. And I brought it in the thing. You wanted to put it in dumb tech. I said, no, stick it in Tech Bytes. And it stayed in Tech Bytes. So.
Well, I mean, technically, we took a bite out of it. Well, you refused to take a bite out of it.
Okay, let's get into summer series.
All right, summer series this week. We're targeting
Did you
telehealth.
make a theme song?
No, because I don't think we'll ever talk about the summer series ever again after the summer's done.
Yeah, but I feel like if we do these segments, we should have like a theme song.
All right, what's your theme song? You sang it last week. Do you remember your theme song?
I imagine it was something like Summer Series, everybody's having fun, worrying about what the future will bring in the Summer Series.
I mean, I'll just take that and send it off to a professional company to like redo, and the people on the other end will hear the done up version. I'm sure of it.
I just got a text from Dr. Dre. He wants to sign me. So,
anyhow, this week's topic is telehealth, and I found a couple articles I put in the show notes. Obviously, this is way more in depth than I ever thought it would be. There's a lot to it. So I'm just going to go more basic with this one. Basically, off the bat, 15% of adults use telehealth for the first time during the pandemic, and 76% of people said they would continue to use telehealth after the pandemic ends. That's just a quick look, but one of the articles I found was that there was 4 telehealth changes that should stay even after the pandemic ends. And I can kind of go through them real quick and kind of talk them over.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you used telehealth yet?
No, but my wife has.
She has, because I asked my wife if she has. I have not. She has not. So I don't have any basis.
She did both work telehealth and she used it. So she was on both ends.
She like it?
I mean, it saved her a trip out to the doctor's office, and basically, a lot of times you just do a yearly checkup just to renew your prescriptions, or a lot of times people go to the doctor just to get them to do it once over with them and just renew their prescription or whatever. So it can be a arduous thing for some people to make their way out to the doctor's office, especially if you're handicapped. My wife's not handicapped, but
well, like, that's my thinking is, like, if it's, like, a normal, like, if you're on, like, a diabetes medicine and all, and I know you have to get blood work done, but that's usually separate, but, like, if you could just meet them, like, over the thing, like, hey, like, how you feeling, how the medicine doing and all, I'm fine with that. It's, like, if I was sick and all, I would want to be seen in person, not over telehealth.
Yeah, I think for certain things, you're right. You probably wouldn't be able to get properly diagnosed over the phone.
Yeah, but like if it's just like a catch-up thing, I think it'd be fine. But I just wanted to ask if you had experience with it. But
no, I have not. But I've witnessed some, and
I witnessed it.
I witnessed it personally. I was there. But yeah. Real quick, I'm going to jump into some of the 4 things that changed. I didn't know anything about this, but HIPAA actually became more flexible during COVID. So they allowed people to use like apps like Teams and FaceTime and all that stuff. So I guess before the pandemic, companies had to pay for like very specific software to do telehealth, to call like patients and stuff like that.
Well, that was actually a thing I was reading about. Is that audio only telehealth? So like you not even seeing the person. Only like only 3 states had it, and then it jumped up to 31 post pandemic. So like most states were allowing that, so people who don't know how to set up like Teams or things like that could just call and talk to the doctor. The issue though after that, I don't know what your thing had, was that doctors started charging for like short calls, like that's a quick call, like, hey, I'm not feeling good or something like that. That usually was like 3 to 5 minutes that they would usually just answer or give you a call back. Now they started charging for it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I did not hear about that. That's crazy. Sounds like a lawyer.
Yeah, like, well, we did. It's the same thing but telehealth. So like now I know Medicaid is really looking if they're going to continue to allow audio health or the audio only, but yeah, keep going.
That's actually my number 2 is they had new Medicare and Medicaid policies, because I guess before COVID, you couldn't get reimbursed for a lot of telehealth type things. So they're going to start like recognizing a patient's home as the originating site of like, it's basically your home is the doctor's office. So they would cover a lot of stuff. They're also, they expanded eligibility for recipients, and you could even, as a new patient, start like a doctor's visit without going into the office. So that's something they let happen during COVID as well, which I didn't know that either. I always thought you would have to go in for your first visit.
Yeah, well, I think maybe in the future you have to. I don't know, because I know they asked that to continue these for a while, but like if things settle back down, maybe I can see Medicare wanting you to at least do the first one.
Yeah.
But they said like they also started charging like the same rate for doctors for in-person and telehealth. I guess to get more doctors to use telehealth.
Yeah, I think, I did see that as well. And then they also let physical therapists do it as well, which they didn't before. So yeah, that was my third one, was the licensure requirements. They expanded like the pool. So like people from other states could join in, and you could like call, Yeah,
you don't actually have to see a doctor in your state
I don't know. Some of these things are almost a little bit too lax where I'm worried people are going to start abusing the system again
Well, yeah, I think if you start seeing a lot of like Medicaid fraud and things like that, I can see them putting in more guidelines, and that's what a lot of them are doing. They're still looking at it after the pandemic to put in certain guidelines and understand there was such like a fast thing where the country shut down and people still needed to see doctors.
Yeah.
So like they had to allow all these guidelines. I think going forward you'll see it more structure to it, and you'll see more guidelines to see what shakes out.
But yeah, I think this stuff's here to stay just because companies invested so heavily in it. So they bought all the equipment and all the stuff they need to do it. So obviously they heavily invested in it, and they spent billions of dollars, maybe trillions, I don't know, but they spent billions of dollars on like getting themselves set up for this. Final one that I thought was kind of interesting was they actually let people start prescribing controlled substances over the phone, which at first blush I thought was I'm like, oh, that's not good at all. But then I thought like depression was up a bunch, and like a lot of like mental health issues were up a bunch. And a lot of times you have to go into like the doctor's office to get like prescriptions for mental health. And a lot of people with mental health issues maybe aren't willing to go out into the world during a pandemic, or might even have a hard time getting out of the house in general.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's like you have to have like toe that fine line. So you don't want to add like prescription drugs. I can go back to like the opioid epidemic that we had, where like your pill mills and stuff like that. Like maybe this could be a way around it.
I'm curious if they're even doing opioids over the phone though. Did you? I was looking into.
I didn't read much about that. I saw what they said about like they're allowing some medications be described.
Mm-hmm.
I know a big thing over like with the telehealth is like the rise of like what's that? BetterHelp, like the online psychology.
Yeah, I hear that on podcasts like all the time. Yeah. Advertisements.
And it gets really good reviews. I think that's helped a lot of people. If you don't know what it is, it's where you can talk to a therapist online instead of going in and like find one that suits you and that you like.
Enter code FutureJam for 20% off your next visit.
I know there's a couple of them that do it, but like it was good during the pandemic that people can still talk to people and all. And like some people don't feel comfortable going in to talk to somebody. So, like, that helps. And I think you'll see more of that. I do think it's going to be more of, like, the stuff where you can re-up, like, your medications, or if you have, like, because you usually get your blood work somewhere else, and they send it to the doctor, like, and then you can talk to your doctor about it.
Yeah, a lot of this said with the telehealth stuff, they would, like, do a bunch of initial things, questions and such, and then you could just go from your house and go to a testing facility for certain things as well. If you need to get a COVID test or other tests for things, and I think they had like mail tests as well, like they mail you a test, and that's something we didn't talk about either is wearables, like with like a lot of these watches and other like health wearables, like if this would help out with like older patients who can't really travel to the doctor's office, like how good these wearables get, and if they are good enough to supplement traveling to the doctor's office.
Yeah, we've talked about it before in the past. Well, a lot of companies are putting a lot of money into these, like like the watches that can do like EKGs and mono. I know Apple is big into it, and Google, like a lot of other brands too. But
I'm surprised like Apple and Google don't have like specific branded like models for health. Like they have, like it seems like they're trying to hit everything on this one watch. Like this watch does everything, and I'm sure if they targeted like more specific like groups of people, it might be I could see more interesting things happening with the like wearables.
Well, but there's other companies that do hit home on one type of product.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a blood pressure like monitoring one you could just wear that's like just that's what it does.
We've talked about it before in the past.
Yeah, there's different stuff out there on the market, I'm sure of it. Yeah, so it'd be, I put there's two really good articles I put in the notes. And Alex, if you have an article that you found that was really good, let me know. Send it over. I'll throw that in the show notes as well. Final thing up is we actually have a tech RIP this week.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
This one might be the most sad because it was with us for so long.
We actually talked about it last week.
And we asked if it's still a thing.
Yeah.
So Twitter is officially retiring fleet videos as of August 3rd.
I think Twitter's CEO listens to our show and he's like, "Oh yeah, we do have fleets, and maybe we should kill it."
I guess they didn't see the increase in numbers that they thought they were going to, and advertisers didn't want to advertise on fleet.
No, I wouldn't either.
Get rid of it didn't make sense for Twitter to roll this out. This is one of those things they hope just like goes under the rug and people forgot was a thing. But like it's another example of one of these social media companies trying to do something else that another media company does.
Well, it took Facebook like a whole year, 2 years to get people to start using the Facebook stories. Like, you remember when Facebook stories first came out and like nobody used them? Like they had to like move them around a bunch of times in the app, and they had to make them bigger, smaller. They were like forcing people like at gunpoint to use Facebook stories.
Well, now the only way people use them is attached to their Instagram. That's how Facebook got people to use them.
Oh, okay. That's why there's way more Facebook stories now?
Yeah, because when you post on Instagram, you can post it directly to Facebook as well.
That's what I was trying to tell my wife. I'm like, I bet you half of these stories are just Instagram stories posted on Facebook.
Yeah, so you can post them at the same place twice.
So I wonder how many of those Facebook stories originated from Facebook directly.
Well, that was... Facebook started it in response to Instagram and then decided just to buy Instagram.
No, they didn't do the stories.
I thought they did it before they bought Instagram.
No, they've owned Instagram a lot longer than you think. Instagram started at first, and for some reason, Facebook's like, "Oh, we have a group of users on Facebook that aren't on Instagram, maybe, or something along those lines, and maybe we can get them to use stories." And obviously, that group of people did not want to use stories, but the people who were using Instagram, like you said, cross post over and make it look like Facebook stories is legit.
Yeah, I don't know.
More of the story is Twitter fleets are,
So get them in before August 3rd if you have some ideas you want to get out there.
Are they actually letting people post?
Should we do a
fleets?
Future Jet one before August 3rd?
In memoriam?
I think we should.
Like, I don't know. But I mean, there's no way of commemorate it because I think they just disappear after 24 hours.
Yeah, we could do one.
All right, we'll do a fleet. We'll do a final fleet, just one fleeting moment in time.
Final fleet sounds cool.
Yeah, final fleet. So that's my bucket list before I die. Is to do a fleet. We gotta
record this fast.
I know, to just do one final fleet. So, all right. Thanks for listening to The Future Jam. We're found at The Future Jam on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. if you miss it, at the Future Jam. And please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. I get this wrong every time. Apple Podcasts. 5 stars or more. Leave us 5 stars or more, and we'll be happy with that. But yeah, until next week, we'll
Until next time, I've been Mike Sandberg, and with me is Alex, and you guys have a good night.
Oh, thanks for taking over for me. I was crashing and burning.
Yeah. Have a good one, everybody.